Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video I am going to talk about reasons why an African living in an uncompleted building may be richer than you or may be richer than you think. So if you don't know anything about Africa, then I want you to know that the inflation here is quite high, and as a result, plus other factors, the banking sector, they charge a lot for interest rates. So most Africans don't think it makes any sense at all to go for mortgages. So most houses that you see, whether completed or uncompleted, is built out of pocket. Almost about 95% of people living in Africa own a house outright. Because of all these inflation issues, it's futile to save your money in the bank. You have to put into some assets that appreciate in value relative to the depreciation in the currency. An African put money in his building or her building. It's one of the smartest things they can do. Unlike the West, Africa is now developing, so the appreciation on properties is quite high. It's in a double digits percentage per year, and that is in dollars. So if your local currency is depreciating and you can put into a building, you're gonna appreciate even in the dollars. Sounds like the smartest thing that you can do. In Ghana, people are paying 2 years in rent advance. You don't pay monthly. Though the law says that landlords shouldn't charge more than 6 months in rent, they still do, and that's the reality. So the average Ghanaian has to pay 2 years in advance. So what most Ghanaians decided to do is buy a land and start building slowly. But once they get to a certain level, they move in, and instead of paying a lot of money in rent, that money is being used in the building that they live in. And the building is an uncompleted building, but the value of that building that he's living in, let's say it's even $30,000. How many people in the West? And the average African has no debt. I mean, like 95% of Africans have no debt because you can get it even if you wanted to. So they own a house that they live in, which is uncompleted. And I think it's quite smart because now they don't have to pay that rent. The 2 years advance rent, they don't have to pay it anymore. So when the money comes in, they build slowly. So if you're standing from the outside looking in, you would think these people are living poorly. But you just gotta look at it from a different angle. You gotta look at it from the economical angle. You have to look at their net worth. Since they have no debt, most houses that people are living in, even though it's uncompleted, it's worth $30,000 plus. Most buildings, which is like uncompleted that people actually live in, the ones that's going on another floor, which is even more expensive, they tend to do that a lot. They want to go up, to the next level, so they just do the bottom just to live there. It's very nice inside. They don't plaster or paint the outside because the road hasn't been done yet, and they don't want to waste money to keep painting. So it's all economics and very smart. When you grow up in an environment like here, it just toughens you up, makes you smarter, and you know how to go about things. Do not judge a book by its cover. I mean, that's what this video is all about. You might see an African living in a building, looks uncompleted from the outside. But this is the reality. That person has no debt, and that uncompleted building that he or she is living in is worth $35,000 plus on average. It could be more, it could be in $100,000 range, and it's still not completed, and they're living. And they have no debt. And I know the statistics, people in the West, 78% of them do not have that net worth. 78. There is a huge economical, thinking behind this, financial thinking behind why people are living in an uncompleted building, and they are smart for doing that. They are thinking long term. If you look at the rent being taken in 2 years in advance and all that, you could use that money to build to a certain level because it comes in bulk, and they think this way. So before you judge a book by its cover, once again, it's a couple of questions that you have to ask. Also, the car that African living in an uncompleted building driving, paid in cash. Cash. They don't owe anything on it at all. And as I know, because I lived in the West all my life, my car was a loan to me. It makes sense in the West to take a loan to buy the car because I was paying 1.9% interest rate. Why the hell will I go and pay, my car I think was worth, when I bought it, I think the price was like $42,000 and I was 19 at the time. And I had some money saved up. I had like $30,000 cash in my pocket. I really felt rich. But I understood a bit of finance and it just didn't make sense. You don't have to be that smart to make more than 2% on your capital. As a matter of fact, I can find high yield savings account and put that money in there and that's it. So you won't take that long. So it makes sense that people finance their cars in America. I think so. Because if the interest rate is like less than 2, go for it. But there is a lien on that car. You lose your job, they're coming for it. Same with the house you're living in. Most houses in the States, mortgage on it. So the interest rate is going, as you're paying, the interest rate is going, you got 30 years to pay that off. So it's from different angles. And it makes sense, for people to take the 30-year mortgage in the States. First of all, because the house is really expensive. And secondly, the interest rate is not that high. Until recently, they increased it dramatically because of the inflation that's going on. That hasn't happened since the 80s. So I just wanted to take us through history, and I want us to look at things from different perspectives. It depends on where the person resides, the culture, and what's going on in the economy and the system that leads to a lot of stuff. So in the West, while it's leading to a lot of depression, anxiety, and all that stuff, I get it. They are incentivized. You are incentivized to take the credit because the interest rate is so low. It's just what everybody's doing. It's a norm. You have to really think outside the box to not go for that. And it leads people to immediate gratification sort of thinking instead of delayed gratification, long-term thinking. And that's what Africans are good at. They are always thinking long-term. You have to think long-term over here. So somebody will be living in a house which is uncompleted and stay in that house, but 12 years later, the house will be completed. No mortgage on it, no loan on it. The house is worth like $300,000 by that time, $400,000 by that time, $500,000 by that time. That is why an African living in an uncompleted building is richer than you. So if you've not subscribed to the channel already, kindly do so. Hit the bell for the notification. Like this video as it helps with the algorithm. And until next time, my friends, be legendary. Peace.